Yes, is it on? I think it's on. Yay! So would you like to introduce yourself, or do you want me to do it?
Hi, I'm Holly.
Yeah, and Holly, where are you from?
I'm from England, near Manchester, Derbyshire.
Yay! So we both live in Bodrum, Turkey, but I grew up here, so this is my hometown. And yeah, she's just with us. So, okay, so we're gonna talk about some, I don't know, like ridiculous stuff, like
Yeah,
silly stuff.
just whatever we feel like, I
Yeah, it
think.
doesn't have to make sense, you know, and yeah, so we can start.
Okay.
So I got a question. So what's the one stereotype about people that's kind of true?
Oh,
Like it can be
goodness.
about British or Turkish.
Yeah. Uh, I feel like British men, a lot of them think that they are the best. Like they owe, like people owe them something.
Is it like narcissism or
Yeah, maybe narcissism. I don't know. I just feel like the way it's set up for Englishmen, and probably men in general, is like their mummy's little boy. And like everything should be given to them. I
yeah.
guess that is a bit different in Turkey.
But I think it's the same because I remember like when you're young, you know, you could, moms always put their sons above anyone else.
Yeah,
You
I've
know.
noticed that too.
Yeah.
Like even with Octave's sister's kids, everything is about Mali, and I know he's the youngest and he's super cute and all that.
Yeah.
But
So that's your husband's nephew, right? Yeah. In case you don't know, you probably don't know. So, um, what else can I ask? Let's see. So, what's the first time you felt like a grown-up woman?
oh, I don't know. It felt pretty grown up moving over here. I mean, it's the first thing I did that wasn't like the normal thing to do. I always felt really weird working as well. Like even like my first job till now, the fact that people still trust me with money and like being in charge of something.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like working in restaurants and stuff, people trusting me like to take people's IDs and like take their money and make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah. It's a huge responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like jobs are weird and growing up is weird.
Yeah.
The fact that you can have the same job at 18 as you can have at like 30 is crazy.
Exactly. Like about me, like I never thought I will have a job in the same place for 9 years.
Yeah,
That sounded like crazy to me.
yeah,
And now that's my like ninth year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even being old enough to work for 9 years seems
Yeah.
crazy.
Exactly. That's a huge career. And I'm not even like 25, guys, by the way. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm 24. Wow.
I'm
It sounds really
25.
serious, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. 25 seems a lot older than 24 did.
I know, right? Like, so what's the difference? So
It just doesn't seem like teenager anymore. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like young adult. It just seems like adult.
yeah.
Because like next year I'll be 26.
God.
And that feels like you're pushing 30 by the
Yeah.
time you get to 26.
Yeah. So one of our friends, aka Kaya, so she will be 30 this year.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, and she was like, "We need to talk about this. Like, things getting serious." I was like, "If I was turning 30, I would kill myself."
Yeah, I know, but that's gonna happen
I know.
in like a
So
few years' time.
yeah, so I think that's why I push too many things on my body. Like even last year, I remember I was having like hard times saying, "Okay, this is like these days won't come back. So this is your one
Yeah.
life. You know, you have to live fully." And then I just didn't even have time for myself, you know,
Yeah.
like working. So guys, I have a night shift for like 4 years or something. And yeah, like I work at night and during the day I barely got some sleep last year. Only like 3 or 4 hours and that was it.
Yeah.
And then going for a walk and then talking to friends and like most of my friends are from out of the country, so time zones don't match, don't line up.
Yeah.
So you have to I feel like I have to be awake the whole time to catch up for people's life,
Yeah.
like because they update me and I was like, oh my god, I missed this because I was sleeping. So
But then you just make yourself so run down that you just don't want to do anything anyway.
yeah, and yeah, we're back. So the other question is, it's really like unserious. If someone listened to our podcast,
Yeah.
so is the podcast a girl or boy?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell when this is our first one. I feel like it's probably a girl.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be mostly aimed at
It's a girly
girls and gays.
podcast. Yeah. It's for all the girls and gays,
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever misunderstood each other because of cultural difference or like language barrier?
I feel like maybe sometimes because of language barrier. I mean, you're great at English. I'm not so great at Turkish, but because you speak such good English, it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
how good I am. And maybe cultures as well sometimes. Like maybe I say something like, not you and me, but I said to Octave ages ago when we first was like living together. I was only coming on holidays, but like we were living together. I wanted some super noodles. And he had no idea what I was talking about because there's no such thing as super noodles here. But in England, you just call them super noodles, and that just means like instant packet noodles.
Yeah. So it's a brand, but it's also the name.
Yeah,
of it, right? Yeah.
It's like when someone says, I want Pringles.
Yeah.
You instantly know exactly what kind of crisp you're talking about. Or like Doritos.
Yeah.
But they're all like nacho crisps.
Yeah. Or you don't say I want coffee, I want Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
So little things like that, I think. I can't think of anything particularly that me and you have been talking about, and we've been a bit confused. Because, like I say, you're just always speaking English to me. There's no point where you'd say something in Turkish to me.
Yeah.
I hope one day that we can speak a little bit of Turkish together, even if it's just like introductions, like saying how are you and stuff.
Yeah. Even it's like the small conversations, we can swap languages,
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I say I hope, but like, I live here now. That has to be a reality one day.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like having kids and stuff and them learning Turkish and me not understanding what my own kids are saying. That wouldn't be nice.
Yeah. Then you will feel like you are left out.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And it's just a bit silly, like, having kids and them learning the language before I do. I know it's easier for kids, especially if they learn it from when they're babies, but
Yeah.
it just seems weird to me. What do you think?
Well, I think I've got so many. So here's the thing. The way I learned English wasn't that easy. So the school doesn't have, just to let you know, guys. So when I was like 10 or even like 9, let's just start from the beginning. I was 5 and my cousin told me thank you. And I only knew yes or and no. Like
Yeah.
that was the only words in English that I've ever had. That was it. And when they said thank you, I was like, what does that mean? That's really cool. I was learning, new words. And then they said what it means in Turkish. And then I remember I used to just hold strangers' hands, saying like, hello, how are you? I was like 5 or something.
That's sweet.
Yeah, how brave I was. I don't know. And they just, I think they found it like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was all, British people. So when my mom used to work at the hotel, so, she was cleaning the rooms and I was with her. And then I think people found it really adorable. Like they used to give me so many presents, like, I don't know, like t-shirts and like some football t-shirts that I don't even know. It was cute.
Yeah.
And then my uncle, my father's brother, he was dating with an Irish woman.
Right.
Yeah. And I used to stay at their flats. And I was 9 or 10 or something. And So she couldn't speak Turkish and I couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
And then she was holding an egg, saying like, okay, this is egg, when she was making breakfast.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, so that's egg and that's whatever. And yeah, it started like this. And whenever she used to visit us, I was super excited because like there's someone.
Yeah, it's so new for you.
Yeah, it's like a whole different world, you know.
Yeah.
So I think like the languages create a new world
Yeah.
to me, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I love speaking two languages and
Yeah.
you know being bilingual. And then at school, it helped just a little bit for like grammars and all that. I kind of understand. And then I think like working for British people and like tourists
Yeah.
helped me a lot.
It's got to.
Yeah, but I struggle a lot on the other hand because so when I started working for British people, I was at the bar, so the music was really loud.
Yeah.
And not only their language, I couldn't understand my own language. You know, when people talk to me, they were like, okay, you should make some beer to serve. And I was like, what you saying? Like, it was a lot.
It's probably one of the hardest environments to try and learn what people are saying.
Yeah, it was overwhelming. And, you know, working and like listening to music for 8 hours, 9 hours in a row, like every day. And it's the same music, you know, like it's the same songs. I was like, oh my god, like 2 years dealing with that, it was a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and then yeah, people just didn't think my English was good enough, so I was really insecure. And then I dated with an American. Well, he also helped me a lot, not gonna lie. Like, yeah, probably he will listen to this, I don't care. But yeah, he helped me a lot, like, because even in the relationship, I compared myself before I met him, and during the relationship, I could tell like there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because even like in 2022, I was still working here, and during the day I was talking to him, so 24/7, it was all English, you know. Barely Turkish and fully English. And there was one time, it was my off day, and it was midnight, so I was sleeping. And my dad came to the room, and he was like, well, you're supposed to be at work now, you know, you're getting late. He woke me up immediately, and I just didn't know what was going on. And I said, oh, I forgot to tell you it's my off day, in English.
Yeah.
Without like noticing that I was speaking English. And then he looked at me and was like, what? And my brother was there, and he was also laughing. And I was like, oh, sorry. And I said that in Turkish. So, yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And in 2021, there wasn't like tourists from out of the country because of the lockdown. So I didn't speak English like barely, like at all. I would say. And the next year, just because during the winter, I talked to my American boyfriend.
Yeah.
I got used to the American accent, and I came here just because I have a curly hair, and because of my accent, people thought I was from the U.S.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What state did you live in?" I was like, I'm not American."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Well, your accent." I was like, "Okay, so what? I don't know." So yeah.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's helped me, even in the short time I've been here, learning Turkish, and it's still very basic now, but I think just even trying to communicate with the Turkish people that come in here,
Yeah.
and the staff as well, has helped a lot. I mean, Billy was great with me, even when I first got here in September, not last year, the year before. He was already trying to teach me stuff, and I knew like basically nothing at that point.
Yeah.
And it's so awkward as someone's trying to speak to you in a different language and you don't understand. But they've all been so great. And yeah, Octave does that same thing as well, where he's really tired or it's first thing in the morning, and he'll say something to me like, turn the aircon off, or what time is it, or something.
In Turkish.
Yeah. And it's nice now because I'm getting to the point where I understand him. So I don't have to be like, what are you saying?
Yeah. You got the context in it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, it's simple things like that. Like, that's what's helped me being at work. Things like aircon, keys,
Yeah.
check in, check out, clean, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're all words that I'm picking up now. So that's been nice. I mean, I think living in the country of the language you're trying to learn has to help anyway.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like interacting with the people around you. I'm sure if you were like had some kind of holiday home or something, and you didn't really interact with the public,
Yeah.
it might not do anything for you. But I think it's been really good for me.
Exactly. And I think, like, in some way, Turkish is really difficult because when I try to teach, like, my friends from other countries, it's really hard.
Yeah.
When they ask questions, I was like, okay, I don't know why it's like that. Like, don't ask me this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for me either, but it's just the way it is. But
I think it's the same in every language. Every language has its own strange rules.
yeah.
And, like, its own way of doing things. I feel like Turkish is simpler than English in some ways, but also way more complicated in other ways. It's just learning the rules. That's why I think learning the alphabet helped a lot.
Yeah.
Because what I like about Turkish is if you see a word, it's always just how it's spelled. It's not like English where if you put an E in a certain place, it's a different sound. Or like, if you know the alphabet, you can basically say a word if it's written down.
Yeah.
Even if you don't really understand what it means, at least you can understand how to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. And some words, like, are copied from English, you know.
Yeah. Some words are like one letter off English.
Yeah. So it's similar in
Yeah.
some cases. And then the whole silence.
Yeah. I was going to say something else, but I forgot.
Yeah, I also forgot. I was going to say something.
Oh, I was going to say, it's the same in English, but it makes me laugh how there's certain words in Turkish that have, like, so many different meanings. And they're not related in any way.
Yeah.
Like, in English, there's, like, there, and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then, in Turkish, like, face, 100, and there's one more.
And then swimming.
Swimming,
Yeah. We use the same word
Yeah.
for all of this. Don't know why.
It is funny. And, like, that's one of the things me and Auntie spoke about one of the first times I was, like, trying to learn Turkish. Because when I first came over, we were doing, like, lessons every night. Like, we'd actually sit down and I'd write stuff down and all that.
Oh, wow. It was that serious, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I still am, but I was really desperate to learn it. And at least learn the basics. Like, that's when I learned the alphabet and numbers and all that. And I'm getting really good with the numbers now.
Oh, that's good.
Like, even all the rooms, I can say any of the numbers of the rooms.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much any number, because they're all the same rule.
Yeah, but I'll just interrupt you really quick. The way we say it, like for the room numbers or something, it's quite different than English. So when you say like 301, we say 301, for an example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Could you say, like, 301 if you really wanted to, or will people just think that was super weird?
well, it will be awkward. Yeah.
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 Because I did wonder that. But, like, when I'm learning and I don't understand fully anyway, I just go for the thing that I know.
Yeah.
Like, I would never try and say it 301. And we don't really in English. It's just, it's a bit easier sometimes than saying 301.
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier because even when someone asks for your phone number, we say like, okay, 542 and then 305, whatever. Instead of like 542 or whatever, that's easier, you know.
Yeah.
Saying like one by one.
Would you say like 77 or like 333?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do that as
Instead
well.
of just saying like 333.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say like 333.
Either way, people do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was going to say about what me and Octave used to laugh about when I first started learning, and I think it's one of the funniest things. Obviously, like, all languages are going to translate slightly weird.
Yeah.
And I'm sure me and you have talked about this before, but, like, don't know how it's best to say it, like the pupil of your eye,
Yeah, I remember that.
and like gums.
Yeah.
So gums translates to teeth meat,
Mm-hmm.
which is like so gross but so literal.
Yeah.
And pupils translates to like eye babies.
Yeah, eye babies.
And there was another one as well. And foot fingers.
Yeah,
Toes are just foot fingers.
exactly. And speaking of that, because I was gonna say that like, specific one, foot fingers. Have you seen Friends, the TV show?
Some of it.
Yeah, you know the character Phoebe? Yeah. I think the actress was Lisa something. Sorry guys, but just
Yeah.
I'm really bad at names, you know, I can't remember names. But yeah, Lisa. So she used to date a Turkish guy years ago.
Oh.
I think it was like in 70s or something. So she also said the same thing. So when that guy said foot fingers, and she was like, "What?" We call it like toe, but it was like cute in a way, like it was in an
Yeah.
adorable way. And yeah, I just remembered that when you said that.
Yeah.
But we also call this ear tits.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. But it's called ear tits.
I think I've heard that before. I think he says something like a nipple or something.
Yeah, not nipple, because nipple is like the tip, but we call tits.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it called in English? So people will understand it.
Earlobe.
Earlobe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, there's no other. Like, lobe is just this. There's no other kind of lobe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why we would make a whole new word. I don't think there is.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called like this.
Yeah, that's why English is so weird sometimes, because, like, why would we invent a whole new word just to call the, like, bit of skin on your ear?
I mean, it's better than explaining like, I don't know, ear tits. What's ear tits? Why is it called? I think it's because like it's like more dropped.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes sense.
Is it specifically tits? It's not just,
Yeah.
like, boob
Well,
or
boob.
breast.
Well, what's the difference? Because I think boob is more like innocent way to say it, like more
Yeah,
publicly.
like, breasts is more like the medical term. Tits is more like the swearing way
Yeah.
of saying it.
Yeah, it's tits.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
I've also been learning some Turkish swear words. I mean, the whole time I've been over here. And I think a lot of the staff don't quite know that I know what they're saying sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Especially Ebo.
Hmm. Well, I don't think he knows anything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
True. But yeah, it is funny.
Yeah.
And it is kind of easier to understand sometimes.
Hmm.
It's just, like I say, learning the rules and all the, like, if you say, like, I'm going to walk, or I walked, or she walked, or it's learning all that. Same in English.
Yeah.
Like when we put ED or whatever, or S or whatever.
Hmm.
It's the same thing, but different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all just add something extra on or change the word slightly.
Hmm.
That's another thing he taught me when we were doing the proper lessons as well, which was useful.
Yeah. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm bilingual, but some words in English is more like genuine than the way it is in Turkish. So when I say like pretend or something, I don't know, like any words, I think it's more serious. Not serious, but it's more like genuine, like I said.
Yeah.
I-
I mean, some words in Turkish I think are a lot, like, there's just one word. Like,
Yeah.
we have, like, gorgeous, beautiful.
Hmm. Well, we also have alternatives, but so for an example, bittersweet. There's no word to explain this in Turkish properly, like exactly the same thing, you know. So you have to like explain it, you know, or like pay, you know.
Yeah.
There's no word like this in Turkish. So when my American ex told me this, I was like, I don't know what it means, which I found out it's a bad thing, you know. But the closest word is like childish in Turkish, and that's it.
Yeah. I feel like English had a lot more, like, kind of made up words and slang.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very funny using them around Turkish people because it's so not what you have. You kind of just have your vocabulary and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, English people are constantly inventing new words like slay and stuff like that. Like, that's not, I mean, it's probably a real word at this point, but it just appeared one day out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I feel like Turkish, you're never really inventing new words for things.
Well, the government does, but it doesn't. It's not that. There's no impact for this, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sound, so.
And I feel like a lot of the whole world's slang comes from like America or England or whatever, and just what they're using.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you were talking to like a Turkish friend, if you would just say like slay or petty or something like that in Turkish. Like, they would never be.
Well, yeah, we don't say that. So, even though when I want to say slay, I say the word slay in English. You know.
Would they understand, or would they just?
If I said that probably like 4 years ago, they would not understand. You know. But now everyone knows it because of the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like a universal word at this point.
Exactly.
Like, every language would kind of understand.
Yeah.
If they're in social media.
Exactly. So when you don't know what slay is, now you're like, okay, old tech, you know.
Yeah.
You don't belong here. You're not invited.
Yeah. You live like in a jungle somewhere.
Exactly. So even like slay, the word is just, it's getting boring, you know, because everyone knows it now.
Yeah.
So I'm more okay with ate. She ate, you know. So, because you know that guy I mentioned to you a couple of days ago. So he's from London, and he comes here for 3 years. He's a cool guy, but he's gay. And then we were just talking, and then there was a guy came to the desk, asked for beers to get for free,
Right.
and I said he thought he ate, which is like, you know, new generation thing, and everyone laughed because they knew exactly what it was. So if you said that to, I don't know, like 60-year-old guy, it was he ate what, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so, but I think the biggest difference between Turkish and English is just there are so many countries like speaking English, you know, English speaking, like the America, Canada, Australia. So
yeah, it's all the same thing there, isn't it?
yeah, but so what do you think about the accents?
Like American or English or
Yeah, or even like, you know, every city in England has their own accents, even like the villages. Like, so do you struggle, or like do you understand all of them?
I mean, some of them, and I think people recognize my accent, and I don't even think I've got a specific accent. It's probably just a mixture of where my whole family is from.
Yeah. So when you talk, what do people say? Oh, you're from here, or you're from there?
Well, a lady today at work actually asked me if I was from Yorkshire, and I think my mum's side of the family is, and I think I do talk like that sometimes because that's very like farmery, if you can imagine. Like,
Is this a bad thing? I don't know.
I mean, I like it. I like talking like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's set accents in America, in England, like London and South and North and Scotland and all of that. But then there's like just mixtures as well, and I'm sure it's the same for every country.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have a set one. But then when someone asks me where I'm from because of the way I talk, it starts to make me think, do I have an accent? And my nana, I don't know if it's a Yorkshire accent, I think it is. She hates it. She hates the way she talks. She thinks she sounds like common.
Oh, she wants to be unique.
She wants to be like posh.
Okay.
She wants to talk like the Queen.
Yeah, because that's what people said to me, you know, the other day. Sorry for interrupting, but I'll just make it really short. So I was just sitting with like 10 British people or
Yeah.
something, and when I was talking, and they said, "So your accent is really posh." They explained to me what posh means because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It was more like Queen's accent, but which I don't think I have that. But
Yeah.
okay,
They call it Queen's English.
yeah,
Which is like the proper way to talk.
yeah, properly.
Yeah. Proper. Is proper the right word? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, my nana talks like A up. She's like bar and book
Yeah.
and all stuff like that. And she hates it. And it's a lot of like my grandparents on my other side used to call me Ollie.
Ollie.
Like they just never said H.
Not H, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like, Southern American accent because they also don't use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, reminds me of that. So, the English singer Ray, I'm a huge fan of Ray. Like, you guys have no idea how big fan I am. So I was watching her interview and she was saying like some words in British accents is really ugly. So what words do you think that is ugly in British accents?
I mean, the words that spring to mind are the ones, like in the memes of like English people talking the way we do.
Bottle of water.
Yeah, like water is
Yeah.
a big one. You've got to say that properly. And there was another one. There was an interview of a guy, and the guy's trying to get him to say this word properly, and he's not. It's really funny, and I can't think what the word is.
Is the Scouse accent or?
I think so.
Yeah. He was like a football fan or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed very much like that. But like that. And then there's so many different ways of saying things in England, I feel like. Like bath and bath and book. Cook. When I says cook instead of cook sometimes.
Oh, I didn't notice that until you just said it.
Yeah.
Cook and cook. Cook.
Because it's the same thing, like book and cook are the same.
Yeah.
So she says book and cook sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes when I try to do the American accent, I don't notice when I say it walking instead of walking. No. Yeah. I just mix it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like English people just like mash words together. Like I remember one other meme where it's like some foreign country and he's like teaching the kids how to speak English.
Yeah.
And he's saying like, I can't remember what it was, but it was like, do you want to? But he's got it written out like, do you wanna? Like starting to
Yeah.
ooh, yeah. Like just all one big word, like do you wanna?
Oh God.
And like hey up and what's up and like in it stuff like that.
I think that's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one is literally.
Yeah. I feel like even you said it better than some people would say it then.
Yeah. Sometimes when I talk, like there were so many people, but when I talk to people, some of them was like, "So how long have you been in London?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "Well, you have the Cockney accent." I was like, "Well, I don't think I have that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying, but I don't think I have it like 100%.
Yeah.
So some people just assume like I'm from London.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not.
I feel like, I mean, I know Arctic does it, and I feel like most people who speak English, but it's not their first language, must do it. If you're speaking to like someone from London, you'd speak in a bit of a London accent.
Yeah.
Or if you're speaking to someone from Manchester, you'd speak to someone in a bit of a Manchester accent. Like you kind of just adapt whatever you're listening to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Because here's the thing. So I was on the FaceTime with my American ex-boyfriend. And on the other hand, I was talking to British at the same time. So when I was talking to them, I was doing the British accent,
Yeah.
but not on purpose. And when I was talking to my boyfriend, it just, it was just swapped to the American accent. And it's just because the person I talk to, you know, not because I want to change it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really weird because when I talk to Scottish people, I'm not saying I have a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
But when I talk to them, some way, I'm like, okay, I sound like
Yeah.
I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
So it's just really weird.
It's probably some weird kind of psychological thing. It's like if you're trying to write a letter and someone else is talking to you about something, like, what do you want for tea?
Yeah.
And then you're accidentally writing, like, what do you want for tea instead of writing, like, a love letter to someone.
Yeah. It's just really weird.
Like, whatever you're hearing, you're going to copy in a way.
Exactly. And there was one woman I was talking to, and she was asking for butter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, the butter is right here. And she was like, butter?
Yeah.
And I was like,
That
well,
sounds like
I'm just confused because some people say butter and some people say butter. So I'm like, I don't know which one it is. You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm just confused. And then she explained to me why it's like either way. So it's just different.
Hmm.
And then in American accent, it's like butter. You know, like,
Yeah. That was good.
yeah. But I think the American accent is so much easier to understand.
Really?
It's so much easier. At least, like, for, like, non-English speaking people, the American accent is more, like, clear.
Yeah. I feel like maybe some parts of America it would get a lot harder.
Yeah, like, Southern is really hard to understand.
Yeah.
It's not hard, but it's just, I think it's annoying. Like, I don't know, like, yeehaw thing, like, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm also a huge fan of Miley Cyrus. So sometimes she had Southern accent. I can deal with that because I'm a fan. But
Yeah.
other people, there was one time I watched a film. It was about Southern police, and she was like talking like this. And I was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
If the whole film is like this, I can't watch it. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's probably a thing for her as well, like, depending on what she's doing. If she's doing something really important, she probably talks a bit better. Or if she's just, like, sat
Yeah.
doing whatever she wants to do,
Yeah.
she probably talks a bit more like she wants to.
Exactly. Well, what she said was one day, she really had a really thick Southern accent, and when she moved to LA, she got
Yeah.
like actual classes for this
Yeah.
to get rid of her accent. You know? Yeah.
I mean, it's a thick accent, isn't it? Like, I imagine it's hard to unlearn speaking like that.
Yeah. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know, like, the little rhymes and stuff? Like, I think I only know one of them, but, like, to, like, show off how you speak, I guess, like, your accent in English.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what accent would be. I'm terrible at knowing these kind of things.
So what do you mean?
It's like a little rhyme that just shows off how your accent is, I guess.
Oh, okay. I think I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the water in
Uh-huh.
Mallorca don't
Yeah.
taste like your water.
Yeah.
That's a classic one, and I'm sure there must be other ones as well.
Yeah. There was one AI website, honestly. My friend sent it to me. So there's like a script that you need to say, and then you need to put a record on, and the AI tells you
Yeah.
what your accent is.
Yeah.
I tried it and it didn't work properly, so I used another website for this. And it said 80% Irish, which I don't think I sound like Irish. Like,
Yeah.
there's some, like, I don't know, bugs or something, I don't know. And then 60% Scottish, which is still not.
Yeah.
It's not accurate. But I tried my American accent, which it was accurate. Like, it said 80% American. And I was okay, that's correct. But the
Yeah.
rest is bullshit.
I feel like whenever you say anything about America, you get an American accent. Like, even just saying American, you sound American saying that.
Yeah. Well, I can switch, like, accents really easily.
Yeah.
I think that's harder than speaking two languages, you know, like switching accents. I think that's more difficult.
Yeah. Because although it is the same language,
Yeah,
it's still said so differently, and some words are like said totally differently.
exactly. Yeah. And it's not only about accents, but when when I speak to American people or British people, I feel like I have multiple no, not personalities, but like part of lives. So I have a different life with the Americans or like British people or Turkish people,
Yeah.
or my family or my friends in Istanbul,
Yeah.
or like my friends in Bodrum, like hometown. It's like, do you feel that way? Like,
Yeah, like when I go back home and I'm just around English people all the time, and
Yeah.
English people from where I live as well, I think my accent probably does get a lot thicker. I think when I'm speaking to, especially Turkish people who don't quite know as much English as you do, I think I talk a bit more simple and clear. And it's not always like a conscious decision to talk like that. And I'm sure you feel the same when you slip into different accents.
Yeah.
It's not always like you think, right, I'm speaking to an American person now, I need to speak differently. And maybe it's the same, like, do you think it's the same if you speak to someone from Istanbul or here? Do you think you speak Turkish a little bit different?
The same accent because, well, we don't have accents, but we speak differently.
Yeah.
So yeah, the way I speak with my friends in Istanbul and here is, yeah, quite different. Like, like I'm saying, it's like a different personality.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not always like a whole different way of speaking, it's just sometimes you choose different words.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
that's what I'm
it's like
saying.
when you talk to your friends or you talk to like your grandparents or something. You speak differently.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah. You just put boundaries, like, or just get rid of the boundaries because there's like safe space or like security blanket because there's no one will judge you
Yeah.
with your friends or something.
Yeah.
So
And I think because my nana's just been here as well to see me, and she's probably the one in my family with the strongest accent, which I think is obviously from Yorkshire. I think when I speak to her, I start to speak like her
yeah.
the more I talk to her. But then it's also different if I'm with like my parents or my brothers or something. I feel like I talk to my brothers like I talk to my friends,
Yeah.
a bit more casual. And obviously there's like inside jokes and like certain words that you'd use that you wouldn't use with like older people.
Yeah.
But I think it's all just adapting, and it's not always like something you've got to think about.
Yeah.
It's just the way you interact with different people.
And I talked to a grandmom and I didn't even realize she has really a thick accent.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just really used to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
No, I think she puts on a different accent than she actually has. She's probably the same when she's talking to people from where she's from, or like when she's back at home
yeah.
in the comfort of her own home. But she does slip sometimes, and she does catch herself. Or my mum tells her, like, you shouldn't be saying it like that, because she knows she hates it.
Yeah.
We wind her up about it.
So what's the accent that you really struggle with? Like you just barely understand or
Probably Scottish. I feel like,
really?
I mean, that's not even really a part of England, I don't think. Irish maybe as well. It's just the thickest of the English accents, I think.
Yeah, the hardest of hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so much different to like most of England. Maybe Welsh, but these are all places that at one point did have their own language.
Yeah.
Like Wales
Scotland.
had its own language at one point.
Yeah.
So the people there probably, it's like Turkish people speaking English still sound a bit different to English people speaking English.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Or even though they still speak English now, like Welsh people, it's still so much different than Scottish people. But it's funny at work because sometimes people speak to me for days and days and days and like come in every day And then after like a week, like the day they go home or something, they're like, "Are you English?" I'm like, "I've been speaking perfect English this whole time."
Yeah.
I just think I was like the best at knowing a different language ever.
Yeah, you're just not good enough for them.
Yeah.
God. I think I can understand Scottish accents, but the Irish one, I remember there was one time it was like 5 o'clock in the morning and I was exhausted. I was like knackered. I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
And there was an Irish man, he was like a big, strong man, that kind of man. And he was talking to me. I was like, I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand what you're saying. Can you say it slowly? And not only it was because 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
it was also his accent.
Yeah.
And he said it slower, which I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
But I didn't still understand it anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just sorry. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, they're speaking my native language and I still can't understand them.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. And, like, you just ask them to say it again or say it slower or something. And it's fine. It's the same thing with Turkish. Like, because I'm not that great with it, I struggle sometimes. And when people come in and they don't know I'm English, they just talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I am English. If you say it slowly. And then they're like, oh, you don't speak Turkish. And I'm like, no. But I do speak a little bit. If you just speak simply,
Yeah.
the staff luckily are great with it now. Like all the housekeeping and stuff. They have learnt that I am learning. And if they speak slowly, I do get it.
Yeah.
And I basically communicate with them just fine. Like, I don't think there's ever a point where I just fully don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And then some people just don't know that I know what they're saying. So they'll be talking about something like, I basically know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, that's really great. At least you get the contacts,
Yeah.
And so when people speak to you, not knowing you don't know what they're saying,
Yeah.
do you feel insecure or like not good enough or
I think
anxious?
it makes me feel like they think, oh, she's just so stupid English girl. But like, if they just give me a minute, I feel like I panic when people just start speaking and speaking and speaking like you would do to any other Turkish person.
Yeah.
If they just slow down a little bit and maybe say things a bit more simply, don't add all the extra words and stuff, I'd understand. But it also makes me feel a bit like on the outside, which is understandable because I am different to like pretty much all of the staff here because there's no other English people that work here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that know a good amount of English, like are basically fluent, but you can all speak a language that I can't speak.
Yeah.
Which does put me out of the loop a little bit. I mean, I work my way around it, and like I say, I do understand enough to communicate simply with basically everyone that works here. But yeah, it does sometimes make me feel like I'm just out of it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, whether I speak the language or not, I don't communicate with them either. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true. Sometimes it works in your favour not to know what's going on sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. When you know less, it's the best for you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, keep it that way.
It's when I'm fluent and then people can just talk to me about anything.
Yeah.
And I can understand all the drama that's going on, that it's going to be even more stress probably.
Yeah. And what's the best is when you pretend you don't speak the language, but you know exactly what they're saying.
Yeah.
So, like I just told you 2 hours ago, probably, and I'm telling this again for them to
Yeah.
know what's going on. Like 3 years ago or something, when I was with my American ex, I was pretending I'm not Turkish because in some way I don't look like Turkish, and people just assume like I just don't speak Turkish.
Yeah.
So when I was with him, we were just going like shopping or something, and just I was being quiet the whole time, or I was just speaking English the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was just making sure they they weren't scamming us or
Yeah.
they were just talking shit about us.
Yeah.
And if they do, I was okay. What are you saying? Like I know the language because I speak that. That's my native language.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen. But it was really good. It was really fun. And there was one time we were just walking in Istanbul, and there was a guy just selling like colognes and like perfumes and all that.
Yeah.
And I was just shaking my head like saying no because I wasn't interested in.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Where are you from?" in English. And I was like, I'm from Turkey. And he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He was really surprised because he didn't expect that. But
Well, that
yeah,
just goes to show how good your English has got.
I don't think. Well, yeah, that's another thing. But I just shaked my head like saying
Yeah.
no. That was it. I didn't even say any words.
Yeah.
So he just immediately assumed because I wasn't Turkish
Yeah.
because of how I looked and how he looked like.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I have it kind of the same but opposite because people look at me and they know straight away that I'm English, I think.
yeah,
So if they don't want to make an effort speaking English or trying to help me understand Turkish, they just speak.
Mhm.
And I am getting to the point now where I understand. So it's funny. And I hear people saying, like, why have you got an English girl working here if she doesn't understand what anyone's saying?
yeah,
And stuff like that. And I'm just sat there like, I understood pretty much every word of that.
exactly. Yeah, so fuck off.
Yeah.
You know.
Or they just speak straight to the people around me that are Turkish.
Mhm.
And I'm the one doing the job that they need done.
Yeah, you need me. I don't need you.
Yeah.
No.
And then they'll say something to one of the other guys that speaks English and Turkish. And then they'll say it to me. And I'm like, I understood what he said already. And like, I know the situation. I already know what that person wants. Like, if someone comes to check in, if they've got the suitcases with them and stuff.
Yeah, everyone
there's-
can understand it.
Yeah. I know what's going on. All I need to know is your name.
Yeah,
And I'm sure everyone can communicate enough to figure out what someone's name is.
exactly.
Especially if they're trying to learn the language. It's just funny sometimes how people look at me and just straight away like write it off. Like, how could I possibly know Turkish? And it's probably the stereotype of English people, because I think the stereotype is English people don't know any of the language.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was one time. So we used Turkish lira in Turkey, and there was I think it was last year. So there was a woman came to the desk and she was gonna get some beer, and I said 120 or something,
Yeah.
and she was like, "So what's that in normal money?" And I was like, "What do you mean normal money?
Like pounds has got to be the normal way.
Yeah, like you're not that special, babe. Sorry, but someone has to say it." And I was like, "Well, we use Turkish lira in Turkey, so that's how much it is."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, 3 quids or something."
Yeah.
And she gave me 100 lira, and she was like, "Is that enough?" And I was like, "What do you think?" So, 100, like, just you don't have to work on the currency, right?
Yeah.
100 and 120.
Yeah.
How do you think it'll be enough?
Yeah.
No.
If you've got notes in front of you that are like 10, 20, 50, 100, and someone says 120, a lot of people can figure out how much 120 is.
Yeah,
It's 120.
it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, you're one of those.
Mm.
So I just give up, you know. I was like,
Yeah.
that's not enough.
The amount of people that just do not get this money, and I'm like, it's still just numbers.
Yeah,
It's bigger numbers, but it's still just numbers.
exactly.
And I'll say, like, that's 70 lira or something, and someone will hand me, like, a 1 lira coin. I'm like, for a start, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Exactly.
The 1 lira coin is, like, useless at this
Worthless.
point.
Exactly.
But, like, how do you think 1 lira equals 70 lira?
Yeah. And forget about the currency, like I just said. It's the numbers. What do you think?
Yeah.
1 and 70.
Yeah. And you're telling me you're carrying 70 of them coins around.
God.
You'd be weighed down with them.
Exactly. And like some people were asking me, so they were going to Greece,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Do they accept Turkish lira?" And I was like, "You think?"
Yeah. It's Turkish lira.
Yeah, it's the name, like
Yeah.
Turkish.
Yeah.
You know, they have like euros.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't think I get paid well for all of this.
Yeah. Sometimes people will just be so bewildered and they'll say like that's 70 lira and they'll hand me like a 200 and I can see they've got loads of change there. But sometimes I'm just like, I'm just going to take it because it's easier for me to get the change out than explain to you like there's a 50 there
Exactly.
and there's another 20 there.
Like, I'm not your teacher in like middle school or something. Like, sometimes I really give up easily. I'm like, okay, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some, like, the bar staff asking me, like, how do you, like, manage all of this? And I'm like, I don't care. That's the major thing, you know, like, if I care, I will go crazy.
Yeah. I feel like working with the public does that to you. Like at a certain point, you just do not care anymore.
Yeah, you can't care, you know, like, there's no other way.
Yeah.
There's no other option. So,
Sometimes you have to be like, fine, we'll just do it your way.
exactly. Like, I don't want to see you anymore, so do this and go away.
But sometimes, depending on what kind of person it is, it's fun to just make it difficult for them.
Yeah.
To not say fine and just make it so
Yeah.
difficult.
So that's being petty, but I love it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love it, you know. That's what people deserve.
Yeah.
Crazy. Right, it's been almost like an hour. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I-
It has been fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, for your information, guys, when I clock out in the morning, Holly clocks in, and we always have that kind of conversations. And I was like, why don't we make a podcast?
Yeah.
Because we always talk like this, and like, I think people should know.
Yeah, this kind of conversations we have, I feel like other people should hear.
Exactly. So that's really important if you listen to until the beginning, let's just say. But this can be your like morning podcast when you drink your coffee or like when you go to work
Yeah.
and you're stuck in the traffic.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, like 1 hour and just
Yeah.
we were just talking about bullshit.
Just two friends hanging out.
Exactly.
So why not hang out too?
Yeah. Why don't you be the third one?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, anything you want to say?
No, it's been fun. I'm glad we've started this.
Yeah.
Let's make it a regular thing.
Exactly. We don't have a very specific date to release this, but I'm gonna release this as soon as possible,
Yeah.
and then we will see you next week.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, why not? Right, take care, guys.
Bye.